My name is Isabel. This is my brother Josiah, and we are energetic mechanics, helping actually find solutions to the energy work that you've been doing. Actually find solutions to what you're looking to create in your life. Actually having a direct pathway forward in your life rather than it just feeling like noise.
Linda, Helena, thank you all for joining.
Hi.
So good to see you today. We primarily work with spirit guides, but to do what? The to do what is really the focus of what we do here in energetic mechanics. It's to help you find your truth, to help you process information in an effective way, and to help you move your life forward.
Yes.
Working with spirit guides with no framework or guidelines can feel frustrating, can feel like you're constantly trying to connect but not getting anywhere with it. And so what we teach in energetic mechanics is not necessarily just that you have guides, because you do, but what is a framework that you can use to effectively communicate with them?
Yes.
Release what doesn't serve you, choose a path forward, and create a life that you want. Thank you, Helena. It's so good to see everybody on today.
Yes.
We're going to give a demo of energetic mechanics by Isabel channeling here in a moment, which is an example of what it looks like to work with your system to create a hospital, clean, and clear environment for many years. And that's why she's able to channel with full control, understanding exactly who's coming in and in a controlled environment. And we're coming to help you find your own controls and mechanics to feel like you know how to progress and move your life forward.
Because everyone's system is unique, everyone's team is unique, everyone's perceptions and where they are in life is going to be unique. So how one person connects in is going to be completely different from the other. And all of it is valid.
You're not too young. We get commonly told that. You're not too old. We commonly see people think that. Wherever you are is completely valid. It's finding a framework that works for you.
What does making art do for us on a spiritual basis? Now, Josiah paints out all of these pieces of art about your team, the lessons you learned in your process to help be an anchor point for you.
And
you can talk more on that if you'd like. And I'm going to jump into channeling here in just a minute.
We're going to bring in a spiritual guide to talk about the mechanics in a moment. The art piece that I bring into the mix, and I'll give an example here of painting out people's energetic teams that everybody has. How I relay making art as being a useful way to work with your team is it allows you to feel what is true for you. So in this instance, I'm painting out someone else's energetic team. But in many instances, I'm painting out what feelings are present for me, allowing myself to release what's present, and then I'm painting what comes from that. So you can actually use artwork as a way to receive, a way to process, a way to receive, a way to actually bring in your team. Art, dancing, music, religion, spirituality, in any of these ends, it's what framework are you using to release and uphold your standards and find your truth.
Yeah.
So we're bringing a framework with energetic mechanics, not a belief system that you should follow.
Yes.
With that being said,
we're going to jump into our first channeling of the live today.
Who would you like to bring in today to start out with?
Let's bring in Ethos.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll be off camera. Do you want to explain a little bit about what you're doing before we jump in?
So I'm going to bring in one of my spiritual guides. I call him Ethos. And so he's going to fully come into the body. I set my intentions to have my energy fully come out. Hi! And it's almost like I'm wearing a second skin. So in this instance, I'll have my guide Ethos be fully present in the body and directly speak to you all. So if you have any questions for a spiritual guide, let us know in the comments, and Ethos will answer them while he's here. And Josiah's off camera, so he will get to all of your questions as well, and we'll bring in some other guides throughout the live.
And I'll pin them just like I did Epsilon up here. Thank you for joining us today.
Perfect. All right, I am going to bring in one of my guides on my spiritual team. Okay, I'll go grab him for y'all.
Hi, Ethos.
Hello, Josiah.
Thanks for joining us today.
As always, how can I support you in this moment?
We thank you for joining, and I want to open with you giving a little bit of understanding about what your role is in Isabel's space, and also why you chose to come back as a spiritual guide. I think would be an interesting element to add.
Yes. Now, within this particular energetic space, I am helping to align the logical processes with the emotional states. This is why my energetic signature comes forth a lot more prominent than some of the other guides in the space to help with this alignment and bringing forth information from the entirety of the team that is here. Collectives, guides, representatives, loved ones, ancestors, things of this nature. There's a lot of different energies in the space. So my role is to allow this input to come forth in a very directed and pinpointed manner in a way for the system to be able to process. Why I stepped forward in the role of a guide. Now, in my previous reincarnations, there has been primary lessons that I have implemented throughout each lifetime. That has been including understanding how to work with the logical aspect into the heart center. Many individuals go throughout lifetimes switching between the logical states of the brain and the heart center of the feeling-based energy. Now, in my last reincarnation, I was understanding how to weave these two together to actually create results in my life. This is why I stepped forward in the role of a guide for this particular vessel to support not only an emotional regulation, but where neurologically are these emotions being stored and how can we begin understanding the firing between the neurons and the emotional states to create more harmony within the system.
Thank you, Ethos.
As always.
House of Monica, thank you for joining. We go specifically to answers around your team in individual sessions, or feel free to message us. On live, we focus on how we can serve everyone and give information on how guides work from our team's perspectives. With that, Spiderweb is asking, how do I build a strong relationship with my guides? And I love the word building a relationship and connection with them. What would you start with for someone looking to build a bond with their team, Ethos?
Now, understand here that when you are working with guides, it is almost as if, just as you were speaking of the metaphor of building, it is almost as if you are working and walking down a bridge with your guides. There is the connector point to the body, and there is the connector point to the entirety of your energetic team. Now, what happens? You and the vessel are oftentimes yelling your messages across this bridge. The messages are still being received by the entirety of your team, but it is understanding the pathways that you uniquely can lay the foundation down so your guides can access this bridge and go back and forth from it to the vessel, into the awareness, and back into the energetic field. Now, with that being said, everyone's metaphorical bridge between themselves and their guides is going to look slightly different based upon the emotions that are in the system, based upon the current logical processing, and based upon, most importantly, the intentionalities within the space. The intentionalities is where you can truly begin building this foundational core between yourself and guides. Now, most individuals believe here that guides are all-knowing beings. However, when you are working with guides, such as myself, we have often lived in multiple differing reincarnation cycles, understanding our own individualized lessons and coming forth and presenting this knowledge to the soul within a body. So with that being said, when you set intentionalities, it is very important to hone on specificities first. Who or what guide are you looking to bring forth? What are you looking to experience? A feeling, a lightness in the body? What specific thoughts are you looking to release and therefore replace? And how are you looking for this to show up for you? The more specificity you can create, the more refinement in the space. And now we are opening up this bridge to be wider and wider as time progresses.
Thank you, Ethos.
Thank you. Does this make sense?
It does, yes. The next question we're getting forward is more of a common consensus that's coming forward in the chat here, is comparing us to another channel that's out there. And so what I want to ask based on that is why is it important to understand that everyone has their own unique team and spirit and also their own unique path of connection, that it's not cookie cutter for everybody out there.
Right. Now, why my energy presents forward very fast speaking and a lot of information in this manner is because this is what the vessel was looking for. This is how her brain processes information, and this is how she is able to best receive and feel that information in the system as well. Now, not all guides are going to show up like this, such as the higher self that is presented in the space is a lot more grounded and calming, such as the light bringer, as many of you have seen previously, as Cecilia in the space, who is very high energy. It is very dependent on what your particular needs of your space are. Each of the guides are going to present in different characteristics that you are looking to match and mirror within the self. This is why each individual has their unique system, unique structure, and unique guides that came forward for them before entering a physical body.
With that being said, we had a question, do all guides have a similar cadence or personality? Can you describe, and obviously we've seen it, that it's been very different personalities. Can you describe why that is? That some show up with very different personality traits even for one single individual.
Right. Now, it is dependent upon the needs of the space here and what lessons you are looking to cultivate for yourself throughout this particular lifetime. With that being said, before stepping into a body, you go through a life review process, and you also set up in your soul contract which particular lessons you are looking to implement in this current lifetime. This provides the framework and directionality for the core guides that step forward for you in a body. What this means, however, is that each guide is oftentimes tied to one or two particular lessons you are looking to encompass within this life. That means oftentimes guides will show up as different presenting characteristics, different presenting cadences to support you on the implementation of these lessons and receiving the information in the way that will best and more properly flow within your particular space.
Thank you. Helena asked a great question that I'm excited to dive into. Can we set intentionality to experience a spirit guide, like a sign that our logical mind can actually understand and be able to comprehend?
That is dependent upon what sign you are choosing for the logical mind to comprehend. And if we are setting intentions and understanding and validating the awareness that is coming into the space, yes.
What would you recommend as initial intentions that oftentimes is easier for most people to start with?
Yes. Now, oftentimes when you are just beginning your connection, it is not only about the connection with the energetic realm. It is about the connection with, yes, the energy around you in the astral layer. It is about the connection with the emotional states, with the physical states, with the mental states. Now, many people simply try to go to the astral form in order to incorporate all of the information and apply it. However, guides often will support you in aligning all of these information. You are a vessel. With that being said, intentions that can initially be placed could be replacing and releasing certain emotional states. Think of your body as an energetic and emotional storage container. When we have that completely filled up, then it is hard for new input to come forth. Now, when we release the emotions that might be present with us in this space, now we are actually opening up energetic room for those guides to step forward. So in that moment, after we release what is present, then we can choose to replace either with the feelings of our specific guides around us or different validation tools that help the brain align, either a new feeling, either implementing a new thought pattern in the space and validating and celebrating that now formed connection. Does this make sense?
It does, and I would love to ask you to even slow that process down a little bit. So when we're talking about releasing and then inviting in our team, in what ways can we release emotions or maybe some densities that we feel in the body that are present to give us a little more room to be able to receive from our team.
Right. Now, this releasing process is going to look very individualized based upon the needs and based upon how your energy is currently flowing in the space. Now, before this vessel was able to truly release on a more astral plane, we started with grounding processes to be able to release some of the heavy and dense emotions in the space. This included writing. This included speaking aloud. This included setting standards of what she was looking to feel within the body. The more grounded you can initially make it, the more it allows the brain to tie into the emotional process. From this state of validation that you are creating, now we can move on to a more energetic scale of identifying how these feelings are being stored in our body, where are they being placed, and handing them off to your guides. Does this make sense?
It does. And we may go more in depth in that in a minute, and so we may call you back through relaying, if that's okay, Ethos.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. And before you go today, actually, I want to ask, based on everything that's been brought forward, can you give a word of advice to those joining us that may be relevant for them today?
Yes. Now, connecting with your guides simply means further connecting and tying in back to you. Connecting with your guides means connecting in with the different characteristics or embodiments that are already within you. Connecting with guides means understanding and implementing and incorporating the different lessons that you yourself have laid out for you in this moment. If it feels difficult in reaching that guidance that is currently around you, go back to releasing what is present so you can then feel that support on the other side.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Isabel.
Hi.
Thank you all for joining today. If you still have questions on that, okay, perfect.
Hello.
Judy 35. I figured there may still be questions on that, so I actually want to go through that before we move forward.
Hi, for anyone just joining, I'm Isabel. This is Josiah. We are brother and sister teaching energetic mechanics today.
One thing that I want to, please feel free to ask DGTM, absolutely. But I want to start with rounding out what came forward today. And so when we're bringing forward what process to release, as he described, oftentimes we can make it as grounded, as tangible, and as physical as journaling and writing out things that are frustrating you. It can be yelling into a pillow. It can be crying in the car. When we have so much heavy and dense emotion, not bad, I want to be clear. Not bad emotion, but things that are looking for us to feel and release. It helps to create more space so we have a little more stillness to hear those messages, to feel the response, to understand what's coming forward.
Yeah.
And so when we do this work, we focus on the mechanics of how. Not if you can, you can.
You can.
Not, am I too old to do it? You're not. Not, am I too young to do it? You're not. You are worthy in this moment. And what we bring forward when we channel and when we support others is how can you do it in a way that's actually effective for you?
And applicable to you as well.
Yes. While we're on, we bring information from our guides. And so please feel free to try it for yourself and see how it resonates. We specifically work with individuals, though, to help them feel and communicate with your own team.
Yes.
That's our goal. You have a unique team that bring forward unique solutions to help you through. Because if you're someone that's going, I've been meditating for years, I've been eating right, I've been checking all the boxes, and still I feel confused on where to go, we understand you because we were doing the same things. We've read the books, we've done the classes, and we're like, this didn't actually help us. When we started going directly to our teams and the way that we're doing now, it gave direct solutions.
That's why your team is here, directly for you. For you! So you can find solutions that actually work for you, not you trying to mold yourself into what others say you should be doing.
And we do energetic mechanics for a reason, and I want to bring forward, this is actually a point of frustration a little bit because we both see it. Is there's a lot of times if you've been to a spiritual person for help where doors are opened and they give problems but not solutions. We give this is wrong and this needs to be fixed without an actual way to release, without an actual solution from the team. We will never, ever go into a session with anybody and bring forward something that we can't solve with their guides in the moment.
No.
Or that we can't lay out a plan to move forward with. When we started this, we did not want it to be vague. Oh, you may go here, or this may happen, or...
How does that help?
Your guides love you. And we're like, great, I feel that they love me, but I want actual solutions to move my life forward. That's why we honed in the way that we did, on the framework that we use to connect, in the way that we reach out that's actually effective.
Yes.
With that, we're going to jump into a channeling here in a moment, but if you're driven and you're like, I want to connect to my team, understand who's there, and get a clear answer from them, feel free to message or DM us the word jumpstart, and we'll be there for you to help you make that connection. We've been doing this for the past 8 years, so Isabel can channel and bring them forward, and I hold space to help you get clarity in that moment.
Yes. So on lives, I'm channeling in either the guides from my team or from Josiah's team. On individual sessions, I channel in your guides. So you can have a direct back and forth conversation with them and ask them directly, how can I best work with you?
And y'all, this is really what I've been feeling into today, and me and Isabel were talking about this beforehand, of the direction we wanted to take today's live, is an understanding that you joining us are worthy of connecting. You don't have to talk to some spiritual master somewhere, the person who already created the courses, or have a title yourself. The YouTube's Visions for the Heart as well, the exact same as our TikTok.
Yes.
You don't have to have some kind of title or be taught under somebody to connect to your team. Oftentimes we can start with easier methods and build that over time to actually grow in our ability to what? This is important actually. Our ability to receive responses back. Why is that important? They hear you now. They are around you now.
Yes.
The framework is just to gain clarity on receiving back.
And
it's not to make you worthy.
Yes.
It's not to make you anything like that. You already are. It's just a framework of receiving, really.
And that's the thing that's going to be so unique to every single person on here, is what is that language that works for you. That's why it's not a do this one thing and then you will work with your guides. But when we talk to our guides directly and have them directly explain to you, okay, this is currently what's happening in your energy. If we want to get to here, these are the steps that we can do together.
And we're going to bring another guide in to channel and talk about this more. Nikki, how do you keep going after years of trying and feeling like you get nothing though? The most direct thing I can say is to have a conversation with your guide and have them lay it out. This is what's been going on. Here's the clarity of why this has happened.
Yeah.
Here's a pathway we can take together to move forward. That's why we've been working through all these years, because that's what we do in session work. If there was another immediate way to do that, I would just say it right now. But it took us a lot of years to get to that point to do that so we can help others in doing so. It jump-started us. Our father was a channel like Isabel is.
Yes.
And he's the initial one who gave us names and a conversation with our team. So we built off of that to create the framework that we use today. And that's why we also do it for others. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know.
Yeah.
We're going to join in. And Feda, if you have any questions, we're going to bring in guides in a moment to speak on this. And for anyone that's been joining this whole time, you'll see the different personalities. We'll bring in probably a higher self, Joshua, next.
Ethos is my primary guide, who I was channeling a little bit before. He talks very fast, and I did that. I asked him to do that on purpose when I first started working with him, because my brain was just going, whoo, spiraling. And when he would talk very fast, it made me have to focus on what he was saying.
And I want to add something here because I see what people are talking about. There's an addition of who channels like you, and Bashar is one that oftentimes come up. He's an amazing channel. What we do differently, though, is there's two of us for a reason. I help to hold space and clear the room to really give clarity on what's coming forward. And Isabel brings in the guides of those in front of us. And so you'll see 4 or 5 different guides oftentimes on our live that come forward. Mm-hmm. But when we're in front of you, it's your team, your guides, because they're the ones who can give you very specific answers on your life rather than it being more general to everybody on earth.
Yes.
With that, I want to jump right in.
Yeah, we'll do another channeling. So I brought in my primary guide, Ethos, and I think we'll switch to my higher self that will come in. So if you all have any questions for a higher self, what do they do? What are their roles? How can I connect in with my higher self? Let us know in the comments. And just as we did for the other channeling, if you have any questions, Josiah is off camera and he will ask my higher self directly.
I'll be pinning these questions just like this.
Thank you so much.
And I'll ask them, and thank you all, by the way.
Yes.
I'll ask
So glad to be here.
when they come forward.
Okay, perfect. All right, I will go ahead. I'll bring my higher self for y'all. Okay.
Electrico 1, thank you for joining. All right. DGMT, great question. Hi, Joshua.
Hello, Josiah.
Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.
Yes. What do you need?
We had an initial kind of a line of where we were going with questions today, but we had an amazing question that was brought forward by DGTM about how can I contact abundance, basically, or start to bring that into my life. And I think that's actually a general directionality I want to start to shift into for today. Before we get into that, can you describe your role as a higher self and what higher self roles often do for everybody?
Yes. Now, my role within this space is to support the structure and organization of how information is being flowed into the awareness and the structure of the entirety of the energetic team, guides, collectives, others' energies that the vessel is working with. The flow and direction of information, as well as supporting the system in tapping into the authenticity, into the heart space, and understanding and implementing the lessons that they have allowed for themselves to be cultivated in this particular lifetime. With this understanding here, the higher self for any being is to support on a grander scale. Guides are here to support on more day-to-day feelings and motions that you are looking to accomplish, understanding and integrating with abundance, with purpose, with the self, is more so roles and characteristics that you will often resonate with the higher self with. In regards to abundance in this topic here, it is important to note, just as we have to refine our lens to our guides, we also have to first refining that lens to the self as well. What does abundance truly mean to you? Does that mean a new house, new and more physical things in your life? Or does abundance mean freedom? And what does that truly look like for you? See, oftentimes when there is a yearning for something in someone's awareness and space, it means that there is not a need that is met. The core needs in individual spaces are safety, freedom, expression, connection. If one of these needs feel as though it is not being met, now there is the yearning for abundance that is coming forward. Now there is the yearning for freedom. Now there is the yearning to make connections. Now there is a yearning to understand who the self is. So what I would ask those that are looking for that abundance or looking to manifest whatever it is you are looking to identify, what is the need that is not being met? And what are steps you can take physically, energetically, emotionally to start cultivating that in the present day.
To expand on this briefly, because oftentimes when we hear abundance manifesting, it's about visualizing something over and over and over until it happens. Can you once again go over what other steps are necessary than just visualizing what you're looking for?
See, here is the perspective when speaking of visualizing. It allows a clear picture for the mind to be able to grasp onto. Can that be beneficial? Yes. Will that automatically and inherently allow that particular vibration, feeling, or physical instance to come and be very present in front of you in this very moment? No. What visualization allows is for the logical brain to be able to comprehend the shifts you are looking to go into. Why many people will say that visualization is the sole key is because when the brain gets on board, now they are more apt to take action in that manner. But it is all tied to the action. Working with the higher self, working with guides, it is a partnership. When you are setting intentions, when you are looking, as stated, to manifest, what this truly means is assessing your energy, understanding the needs that are not being met, how you want to meet these needs, asking for that support from your team, and now taking action upon this. This is how we truly begin shifting the awareness, the body, the mind, and the energy.
Thank you, Joshua, for going into depth on that as well. Nikki is asking, is the higher self the one who picks the soul's mission? And can you tie that into our question about abundance here?
Right. Now, when working with the higher self, I'd like to describe it in a little bit more of layers. There's the highest self, which many refer to as the higher self. And then there are aspects of this higher self, such as my energy presenting forward. That is why my energetic vibration is a bit more of male presenting. That's why my energetic signature speaks in this directed manner, because that is what the vessel was looking for. Safety in this vibration, safety in understanding structure and information. When dealing with the highest self here, now we are going into your energy that is already fully integrated with source. It goes beyond the perception of the mind. It goes beyond perceived words. It goes beyond perceived feelings and capabilities that this vessel holds. That is why the highest self breaks apart its energy into these aspects, so now we can begin interacting with the self in a manner that is actually beneficial to the self. This is also tied into lessons and tied in once again to that manifestation and abundance that you are speaking of. The highest self is the all-encompassing version of you that, yes, does help provide the specific lessons in each specific lifetime. However, when you get into a body, now there is the element of free will. Now there is the element of, these are my lessons, but I am wanting to do this. And does this extra pathway still have validity? Absolutely. This is why the aspect of the higher self is helping you shift and flow your energy based on your intention when you are in a physical body. Does this make sense?
It does, yes.
Okay.
The next question is, I don't know if this is in the right order, but this popped up for me, so
Okay.
I'm going to assume this would flow into it next. What are direct signs that we could be getting that could come from the higher self? And I saw someone ask as well as I was scrolling through about sometimes they feel random.
Yes.
So if the signs feel random for us, how can we start to decipher through what is coming from me, my higher self, a sign that's really meant to draw me towards what I'm envisioning and excited about?
I'd like to create some differentiation here between how the higher self operates and how guides operate in order to answer this question. Is that all right?
Yes, please.
Okay. When you are working with guides, you are oftentimes going to experience your guidance through that inner thought. You are often going to experience them by these physical signs that appear, by that intuition that many call it. When you are working with the higher self specifically, this is where a lot of the gut feelings come from, that is stemming directly from the heart. This is where a lot of the waves of inner knowing, waves of information come forth. If it feels random, you can understand the higher self almost as a funnel. Okay? The higher self takes all of the information based on your intention, funnels it into your space, and now your guides are managing that information and presenting it in a way that makes sense to your vessel. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you feel the information is randomized, this does not mean that it is a structure of the guides, but it means that you are looking for greater filtering on and from that higher self. So if the information is random, expressing to that higher self simply by saying it aloud, this is the specific information I am looking to bring forth in this moment. These are the specific energies I am looking to bring forth in this moment. This is the specific sign I am looking for when I am wanting this. If we do not get specific, then your filtration system, so to speak, will allow anything and everything to now flow into this space, and now it seems as though your guides are far away because they're trying to manage all of this information and file it away. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have questions on this?
Yes, and I believe this question here may be able to tie in and answer what's coming forward as well. Is I've been trying to bring abundance in my life. Everything but money has arrived. And so if someone's looking for financial support as well, I'm curious to ask this directly. What avenue would you go into with a broad statement like that to help someone with this issue?
It depends on the individual, and I like to be very direct with that. It depends on what emotional states are present for them and what period in their life they're at, right? Because there's oftentimes a instance of just take action. Just take that leap. But oftentimes that cannot always be feasible for an individual. Now, first recognize that a lot of times individuals will go through cycles. Now, this is getting a little bit off topic here, but it ties all the way back in, okay? Oftentimes, individuals will go through cycles in the lifetimes as a whole and in individual lifetimes as well. These cycles include awareness is opening, they're seeing shifts, and then becomes a choice. Celebrating these shifts, which allows for more doors to begin to open, more awareness to expand, or viewing the only lack of. What that then creates is another cycle because it activates the hindbrain. We are not receiving what it is specifically we are looking for. Therefore, we need to set off the alarms, so to speak, and we need to go back into the comfort zone, and therefore we have to climb all the way back up to reopen that awareness once again here. So if we are looking to bring forth more physical attributes, understand once again that it is going to be a partnership with your guides. They can support you in laying out the different options that are available to you. They can support you in laying out the different lessons each of these options could hold. They can support you in providing pathways to truly reach this abundance you're looking for. But again, they can help direct and lay out the path, but the partnership piece comes in the physical body taking action upon that. Now, again, it is going to be very individualized, but that is going to be my generalized statement on this topic.
Thank you.
Do you have any further questions on that, or does this make sense?
I think that makes sense for where it is in the moment. Of course, there's a lot of different doors we could take from there. But our next question, I think I can tie in from Valerie, is how to connect with my higher self. If you're just beginning and wanting to make that connection, would you recommend a structure for going about it in a more general sense? And also recommend a way or a system you can use to start receiving, whether it's feeling or whether it's another sense.
Yes. Now, when you are working with the higher self, most individuals in the body work with the higher self quite often, just simply without the recognition behind it. The gut feelings that you get, that inner knowing that you get, is all funneled through the highest self and the aspects of the higher self as well on a day-to-day basis. Now, with that being said, we can begin understanding when we get this gut feeling, taking awareness to that and applying it to the higher self. We can also call forth the higher self directly and notice what that energy feels like in the present. A lot of times, what many will open themselves up to is all of their guides, the higher self, all of spirit around them at once, and then it gets very energetically chaotic. The noise starts, the fog in the brain starts, the understanding and lack of differentiation between what is me and what is energy begins. Now, what provided an avenue for connection in this particular vessel was immense structure, creating a labeling for each of the guides or the higher self in this moment, a symbol that you can visualize in the mind or a name or label you would like to call upon for the higher self. And whenever you visualize this label, invite them forward into the body and notice even the most subtle of shifts. What this then allows is a few things here. It is tying in the mind, playing an active role in calling forth that energy and visualizing that particular symbol. It is applying to the vessel, the body, and feeling the shifts. It is also applying to the emotional states by noticing what emotions are now present when I call this energy forward, and the energy, of course, in the awareness by bringing that in. The more we can incorporate not the senses of the physical body, so to say, but the entire senses of the being, allows for the most direct information to come forward, especially when you are first beginning to build that connection.
Thank you. With that, before we have a closing statement for you, we had a question come forward that I think would be best suited for a protector to answer, and I would love your input on that.
Okay.
GVG is asking, I have a question on why I am not lucky. And my directionality that I'm drawn to take it is to bring in a protector, which oftentimes helps us uphold our truth and directionality for where we want to go in the life. Would you also bring that recommendation forward as well?
Yes.
Then with that, Joshua, I would love if you could give, based on everything that's been brought forward today, advice for those joining us.
Many in a body search for more information, more energy, more guides to come forward in order to fill some of the perceived voids that we hold, some of the perceived perceptions we label ourselves on. There are so many perceptions that are placed in a vessel in a physical body, the perceptions of the self, the perceptions that the mind amplifies, the perceptions of others physically around you. Coming into a body is learning how to be a part of an integrated collective that your soul is used to, but in a more individualized manner. This is why it is important to understand your guides are there to support you. They are integrated with your lessons, with your truth, with your authenticity, and recognize that your truth can be just as valid as somebody else's truth. And both of these truths can coexist at the same time. When you uphold your standard and your unique truth of the self, now you are directing that outwardly. Now we are affecting and directing the physical life.
Thank you for joining us today.
Now, I will say you can bring in the protector. Just make sure the channeling isn't quite as long here. The energy in the vessel is going to need a little bit of a break, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you for that. Welcome back, Isabel. Thank you all for joining.
Hi.
My name is Josiah, and that is Isabel. We help people connect to their own spirit guides and find a framework which is effective for them to connect. Invincible asked a great question. Do you recommend a spirit guide reading? So what's a little different from us, from how we've trained our teams and energies to support others, is we don't necessarily do just a reading where a reading means understanding your energy in this moment. Thank you, Darren. What we focus on is how can we bring forward solutions and structures with your team to help you move forward. So that is specifically what we do in energetic mechanics, and GVG hang out here for a moment because we want to bring some answers to you as well with your last question brought forward. With that being said, though, within a session specifically, we bring forward your team, who is there, and how they can support specifically. And then we bring in one of your guides to talk to you directly and help you get answers to move forward.
Absolutely. So go ahead.
Specific understanding who's there and solutions of how we can move forward from that.
Yes. So I was just channeling in my higher self. And earlier in the live, I brought in my primary guide as well as examples of how guides show up and a little bit more general information from my team specifically. But you all have your own unique structures, your own unique guides, your own unique information as well.
With that, and we'll get back into ways that we can connect if that's something you're interested by the end of this. One more topic I wanted to focus on, which I wrote here, GVG was talking about why they may feel unlucky. And why I'm highlighting this is because I have a feeling others may feel that as well. We have felt that in the past, where it feels like nothing seems to be going right and the floor keeps falling out from under us as we're making progress. I want to ask you, because Joshua came forward and said you've been channeling a lot and your energy is a little lower. Maybe we could relay for this one, and so people could see an example of what that looks like too.
Yes, let me just check in with Joshua real quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's saying that I can channel. He's saying no more than 5 minutes.
Okay. I actually believe it may be interesting to show your way of relaying too. So do you want to describe what that's like versus your channeling?
Yeah, and I want to actually talk about this. Does channeling happen while you're driving? I have complete control over my energy. So it's not as though my guides are just going to come into my body at any random time. That is because of years and years and years of intention setting and of refinement that I've upheld. So it's all intention based. And I get to choose when the energies come in, understand what their intention is, and be the one controlling the ship.
And to give a little bit of clarity here, we don't necessarily teach channeling in this manner, but a connection to your team like Isabel's going to display here in a moment. Channeling is like, people do it differently, but in the way we do it, as heavy as you get into putting them forward, you would probably be the first to say it's not really for you. When you're channeling, it's external based, and you don't remember oftentimes what's brought forward.
Yeah, the channeling, when I channel, it is for other people. I set a lot of intentions to actually not remember what's being said because I don't want my brain to get in the way. So I'll remember the generic conversation or intention that was held, but I specifically don't want to remember. So I'm going to show y'all the difference here between me channeling my guides and relaying information as well.
And so with that, I kind of want to give an example of this as well. Let's bring forward both of our teams in this moment. You can put Ptolemy and Daniel from my team in the mix of your team.
Okay.
And actually see who steps forward. I assumed it was a protector, but it could be somebody else. When we're talking about the subject, GVG brought this up, but feeling like you're unlucky, things don't seem to go your way a lot of the times, and you're looking for a solution to that, a way to move forward from that. Who would step forward to give us a little bit of clarity around what may be happening, understanding it's from our teams in this moment, but what may be happening and what are options of ways that we can start to move forward from this state?
Yeah, so I see my protector and Josiah's protector stepping forward, Maverick and Daniel. Who do you want to answer, Josiah?
We haven't had anyone from my team come forward so far, so maybe we have Daniel respond to this.
Okay, ask the question again.
The question is, for someone that feels unlucky, or that it's really hard to make progress and like the ground keeps falling out from under them anytime they do make a step, what are ways that we can start to shift, yes, that mentality, but really the dynamic that we have going on to start to change things?
Yeah, so what Daniel's saying is there's a few things that might be at play here, and it's going to be very individualized for the person. He's saying often when you find yourself constantly stuck in a loop, he's showing me like a hamster running on a wheel. He's saying when you find yourself constantly stuck in a loop, yes, that could be an energetic root of an issue that we can address energetically. But most importantly, we want to understand here how this is playing into the dynamics of the physical body, of the mental states, and of the emotional states. If you are constantly finding the anchor points of definitions of the self, this instance happened, therefore this is who I am. This happened to me, therefore I am a person who is reactive to blank. What that then creates is the embedding of that information, that energy, into your energetic signature. So if you are wanting to begin shifting the dynamic of how we are processing, creating new anchor points for the self, what is one time where you did feel lucky? What is that one time where you did feel that love? Where is the one time that you did put yourself first and have that be the fuel for the self? Rather than taking the fuel and trying to light a match that is already dampened out because you don't even understand what that flame looks like.
Because when I'm feeling into that response, I also feel into it's not just thoughts that come through. Because when it's a thought or a memory that you're holding on to or going back to, you feel it in the body. Your thoughts go towards that. Your energy goes towards that. But when you create different and more positive anchor points or become more future focused, your body can start to align with that. Your feelings can start to orient towards it. You have a new anchor point.
Yeah, he just keeps saying, what is your fuel? Choose your fuel. Yeah.
Mr. T, thanks for joining.
Hi.
I think we're going to pause on that note because it's important. And I see a lot, it's resonating with those that are on today. Here's something that we've learned through all the years of doing this, both with our teams and for others. Your team will follow you to the ends of this earth. I want to explain what that means. Your team will follow you to the ends of this earth. If we put our focus or are constantly drawn into what went wrong, what we should have done differently, thank you, Mr. T, what could have been better, your team will follow you into that space to try to support the best they can to help you through it.
Yes.
That's why framework is so important. They will follow you anywhere. If you direct your thoughts, your energy to what you want to create or positive anchor points, they'll follow you to the end of that earth.
Yes.
They will bring forward as much positive situations as they can, help you see more of the light, help bring that forward. It's what you are focused on and what you are asking for. Your intentionality matters because they will follow your free will. Do you all use crystals? Heather is asking.
I don't use crystals. I don't meditate. I don't practice a certain diet. I don't do anything like that. Our goal when working with someone individually is to cut out the middleman. Is for you to have that direct connection with your team and know how to repeat that.
And if you want to use crystals, pendulums, tarot cards, any of that nature, absolutely welcome.
Yes.
But using that as a validation tool of feeling here what your true response is, of feeling here what your truth is, what your team is saying, what your directionality is, and using the crystals or any external tools as a validating piece to the power that's within you.
Yes, absolutely.
When you do bad, how to correct. I want to relate that to what I was talking about before. Thanks for bringing that up. When we feel like we have made a mistake in the past, what positive anchor points can we bring towards the future? What did we learn from that of what we want to choose differently? And how can we make that as a North Star for us? And this is so key, and for our team. I want to repeat again. They will follow you to the ends of this earth. If you create a North Star, this is where I want to go. This is how I want my body to feel. This is how I want to shift my energy. This is how I want to serve others. This is how I want to uphold my boundaries. All of these specific intentionalities gives them the free will to support you, gives them permission to come in and help in something that would be beneficial for you. The framing that you use in working with spirit does make a difference.
Yes, it does. This live recorded, it will be up on our YouTube page by the end of the night.
We have snippets alive that go up on our TikTok and our overall live. We post every once in a while to our YouTube. This one specifically will be up there if you would like to rewatch.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so much for joining. We really, really, really appreciate you for being here, being present, bringing good energy into this. I felt that from everyone today, and that it resonated with a lot of you. We really appreciate that, and that's why we do this.
Yeah.
If you're specifically wanting to work with us to cut through the noise and understand in this exact moment who your team is and how they can help, feel free to DM us the word jumpstart for a $100 Zoom session to get everything rolling in the way that you're looking for. It's why we've been working at this for the past 8 years, to cut through the noise and get you some answers.
Yes.
Thank you for joining. You have a team. They will follow you to the ends of the earth. That's the message for today. Decide what you want to create with that knowledge and put your intentionality towards it. They'll follow you there. Thank you all for joining. We love you, and thank you so much for being present with us today.
We're on Monday through Friday with channelings. Take care of yourself today.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.